Okay, everybody, this is our week 10 mental challenge, and we are focusing again on focus. Okay, this is focus part 2. Speaking of focus, my hair is not really focusing because we're still in the lockdown here with the coronavirus. And my hair is all over the place because I haven't seen a barber in a long time. Okay, so yes, my hair needs to focus better. Okay, now how do we focus better though? Okay, so here's something interesting. So I was an adjunct professor for a university for almost a decade. I taught martial arts as physical education credit for college students. So they would come take my classes, and each quarter, sometimes I teach them Taekwondo, sometimes I would teach them Hapkido, other times I would teach them various styles of martial arts. And we would do martial arts, but also they had to write a paper. We had tests, because again, it was a college class. And every quarter, I had the students, they had to write a paper. And every single quarter, I always had 1 or 2 students every time that could have gotten an A on their paper easily. But they didn't. They got a C or a C minus or a D. Why? Because they didn't focus. Something as simple as that. They should have gotten a good grade, but because they didn't focus, they got a bad grade. So in my syllabus, at the start of the class, I would hand people a syllabus, and this would talk about what we had to do. And then when we got into the course, I would tell them, this is what we need to do. So it was written down, and I would tell people. And so when it came time to get ready for the paper, I would tell people, okay, the paper needs to be 3 to 5 pages long. Some students only wrote 1 page or 2 pages. Some students wrote 7 pages. They just didn't focus on what I had said. The syllabus also explained it. They didn't read what the syllabus said. They just didn't focus. Or I would say, you need to write the paper about this thing. And they would write the paper about something different. And so every single quarter that I taught, every single time, there was always 1 or 2 students that got a bad grade. They should have easily gotten a good grade because they just didn't focus. Okay? So focus is really important, and it can be hard. It can be hard for adults. It can be hard for college students. It can be hard for kids. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk really quickly about why we need to focus when we talk to each other. Okay? This is something really common. Maybe if we're playing a video game and mom or dad is trying to talk to us, they might say, eye contact, you got to make eye contact. Why do people say that? Why is it important to not just listen to them? Why can't we just hear them? No, we need to focus. Not just our ears, we need to focus our eyes. Why do we need to focus? Why is that important when talking to somebody? Okay? Because how we communicate isn't always just with our words. Okay? So I could say something, but my tone, the way that I say it, could be really different. So for example, if I said, are you ready? Or if I said, are you ready? I said the same thing. But one of them, I was excited. Are you ready? The other one, are you ready? The other one, I'm kind of upset. Maybe I've been waiting. And now I'm saying, are you ready? So the tone can change. My body language can change. My facial expressions can change. If I say, are you ready? And I'm happy and I'm excited and I'm sitting up, you can see from my body that I'm happy about this. Are you ready? Now I'm kind of slouched over, my face, I'm not as happy. So you can read into my body language. You can read my face. You can watch me and realize I might be upset about something. So when somebody is talking to us, we want to have focus. If I'm watching my phone or playing a video game and somebody's talking to me, I'm not watching them. I'm not paying attention. I'm not having focus. And so it's really important to be able to focus so we can know, what is somebody saying? What is somebody trying to say? Did I misunderstand what they were saying? Like these college students that misunderstood what I was telling them to do, they just weren't paying attention. They didn't have that focus, and they didn't do as well in the class. They could have gotten a much better grade. So having focus is important. And again, when our parents are talking to us, we need to have focus. Vice versa. If we're talking to a friend and that friend isn't paying attention to us, that can be frustrating. So focus is really, really important. Now, what I'm going to ask in this challenge, I'm going to have several questions. So for example, if you are reading a book, and let's say that you're reading a book in the living room, and maybe one of your family members, maybe your brother or your dad or your mom, somebody's watching the TV. Is it easy to focus and read your book if somebody's watching the TV? No, it's hard. You can't focus as easily, right? So the question will be, where could you go to read your book? If you're in the living room and the TV is on and you're trying to read, that's not a good spot. It's hard to focus. Where could you go and why? You might say, well, I could go to my room, or I could go down to the basement, or I could go outside and sit on the steps. I want you to think about where you could go, where you can get away from distractions to focus. If you're having to do homework, what if you're doing homework and if you have a brother or a sister and they're running around and they're playing and they're yelling and screaming, are they a distraction? They could be. Where could you go to focus? Where could you go where you're not distracted? If your parents are talking to you and you're playing a video game or you're doing this, what can you do to not be distracted? We could put your video game down, right? So I'm going to ask some questions about how you might be trying to focus and how you might be having a hard time. And I'm going to ask you what you can do to try to not be distracted and try to focus better.